There are many points in the IB program where you'll feel like you're in a position where you just don't understand how to approach a problem. Like, let's say you're doing your extended essay and you have two really great topic ideas, and you're just not sure which topic to choose. Or maybe you're doing your TOK essay and you're thinking about approaching the question from a certain angle, and you just don't know whether it's an effective perspective. In these cases, you can figure these things out on your own, but wouldn't it be nice if you could just have somebody by your side? Somebody more experienced, somebody who's helped people through the same situation before, and just ask them a quick question and get their input. Like, how nice would it be to have someone with reliable advice by your side? Somebody to ask the tough questions. This video is going to show you how to do just that. I'm going to show you how to build relationships with experienced IB teachers even though you haven't met them before. You see, there are a ton of teachers who maintain websites for their classes online. And what I mean by that is that they manage websites that their students use as a reference for everything that they discuss in class. So they upload the scheduling of their classes, they upload the resources that their classes use, they upload presentations, they upload resources, helpful material, homework assignments, and their students access these sites whenever they need to. Now, some of these sites are made by really experienced IB teachers. Teachers who, you just know that they're good at what they do. Now, the cool thing is some of these sites aren't restricted, and a lot of these sites provide you a way to reach the teacher that made them. Now, I use this method quite frequently actually. For my business class, I found this website with a really experienced IB teacher, and I emailed him a couple of times and he helped me figure out a couple of things for my IA and for my EE. Like, that guy was just super helpful. What was really cool though is once I got in touch with this teacher who taught economics in an international school somewhere in Asia, and we went back and forth and he gave me access to his class's Google Drive account. And the things on there, oh, those things helped me out so much. Presentations, notes, resources. The point is, some of these teachers are really willing to help you. You just have to find them. And that's what this video is going to show you: how to find teachers, how to pick the right ones, and how to develop a relationship with them. But the first most important thing is we're not trying to take advantage of anyone. Now, if you think that you're going to find a teacher that's going to check your IA or do your EE or do the majority of your work for you because, frankly, we're all lazy, close this video now, because we're not trying to find teachers to take advantage of. We're trying to find people who are experienced enough in a subject so that if we have a question and if we've already tried our hardest to figure it out and we're truly stumped and we need that experienced person to just ask a bit of advice, we're trying to find those type of people and use them in those situations. Alright, so having said that, you shouldn't reach out to every single teacher you find online. Just because they have a site for their students doesn't automatically mean that they're good and experienced IB teachers. You still have to find teachers that know what they're doing. Okay, so what are some of the signs that a site is made by an experienced IB teacher? First thing is the quality of the content. How much effort is that teacher putting into his site? Can you see that he's creating his own resources or articles that demonstrate his knowledge of the subject? Is the teacher producing his own content? Or is the teacher just merely reposting things that you can find elsewhere? Now, it's okay if a teacher is posting helpful resources for their students to refer to, right? Some teachers just do that. But if you just see PDFs on their site, a couple of past papers, a couple of textbooks, and a couple of links to sites here and there, it's not really giving you enough information regarding the teacher's experience. And remember, we're not after resources, we're after a person that can help us. And some schools force teachers to make websites for their students. And what teachers do, they just find information from other places just to fill in their site because they don't really care, right? And if those are the type of people that have created the site that you've stumbled upon, it's best to stay away because you just don't know how experienced in the IB they are, right? We're judging them based on their site. The next thing you want to think about is how up-to-date the site is. If you see a site that hasn't been updated in a long time or doesn't have resources for the most up-to-date syllabus, like it's still stuck in the last syllabus, it's best to stay away from those sites. Now, I'm not saying that a teacher needs to post every day or even every month. However, as long as they have enough resources on there, to help their students, you can see that they're relatively active, and you can kind of get a feel of whether they're putting enough resources so that the class can really take benefit from the things that the teacher is doing. That's a good indicator of the teacher that's putting forth genuine effort for their class. And these are the same type of teachers that will have a higher chance of replying you and having that goodwill to help you even though they don't know you, right? And third, how organized the site is. Now, if you see a site that's organized and it's easy to navigate, right, that's a good indicator of a teacher on top of their game. Now, I'm not saying it has to be anything special. They don't need to have a super functional website, but it's organized enough that navigating the site shouldn't be a problem for you. Obviously, if it is a problem, it means they created the site not with their students in mind, but they just rushed it, right? So you need a teacher that has created at least a decently organized site, and that's a really good indicator of a helpful teacher. But now, the best indicator for any site and any IB teacher is to use common sense. And then you have to evaluate it yourself, right? Use good judgment and get a feel of the teacher before you put forth the effort into communicating with them. Maybe you find an extremely helpful teacher that satisfies none of the criteria as I suggested, or maybe you find one that satisfies everything, but quite frankly, he's terrible. So in the end, common sense, good judgment. I'd love to show you a ton of sites that are made by amazing teachers, but not all of them are public, and I don't want everyone to bombard that teacher that I showcase in this video for demonstration purposes. Having said that, there are teachers that make websites that are quite public and are open to many people using it. So I'll give you 3 quick examples and you can refer to this when you have time. But just kind of think of the criteria that we talked about and how these 3 websites apply according to them. Alright, so you see that you don't need amazing sites, but you get the idea that they're experienced enough, they care for their students enough, and they're pretty good at what they do. And that's the most important thing. Alright, let's move on to actually finding teachers. How do you find these type of sites? Okay, you need 3 things. You need Google, you need patience, and you need a lot of creativity. So there are a couple of keywords we're always going to be using to bring up some of these sites maintained by these teachers. So these are the kind of the keywords. So if we take IB biology for an example, and if we include these keywords, like IB biology Mr., IB biology Miss, IB biology Moodle. So I'll show you what I mean by this. You see, when I type something with the word Moodle, you see how many of these class websites pop up. And the cool thing is that Moodle is this platform where teachers kind of share their resources online with their class. And the point is Moodle is great, right? A lot of Moodle sites are really, really helpful for their students. And if you can get access to them, a lot of them have experienced teachers using them. But the problem is many of these sites are restricted. But not all of them are. In fact, I met another business teacher who, he had a Moodle site and he had a semi-restricted site, but he was super experienced. And, I wrote his email down, I contacted him, and he provided me with some good general advice. So the point is, when you include IB biology or IB psychology and you use the word Moodle in your keyword search, that brings up a lot of these IB sites that are maintained by teachers. Okay, now, if Moodle doesn't work, there are a couple more things you can do. So instead of Moodle, you can do IB biology Mr. Just type Mr. If it's IB Psych Mr. And you'll find is that a lot of these sites also come up. Or you can even do not IB Biology Mr. You can do something like IB Biology Miss. Okay. And then more sites come up. It's really cool actually how certain keywords can bring a lot of these sites up. The reason this comes up is obviously because a lot of teachers use Mr. and Miss in their name. Okay. But if you don't find anything, what you can do is kind of get a little bit more creative and use these other keywords. So I mentioned using the word year 1 or using the word mocks. So let's use mocks and other things pop up. So the point is use some of those keywords, have fun with it, mix and match, and hopefully you find a website with an experienced IB teacher that works for you. If you find a good site, you need a bit of digging to find a way to contact the teacher. And a lot of them, if they're open to public, they'll find a way to put their email. Or maybe you have to access some of the class resources, like maybe the teacher has a homework assignment and you enter that file. And maybe just below that, you can email me if you have any problems, and the teacher's email address is there. So that's what I mean. Be creative. You need a lot of patience, but trust me, it pays off in the end. Okay, how do you start to contact them? This is the most important thing. Be genuine. If teachers see that you're just trying to use them, right? Even if a person randomly replied, like emailed you, and you saw that he was just trying to get things away from, like get things from you, you're not gonna reply him. So don't expect them to reply you if they see that you're not genuine. So don't ask for too much now, and don't ask for too much ever. Be kind, be considerate, and be genuine. All right. You can start off by emailing them something simple like, hey, I love your site. I found the resources to be super helpful. I'm taking IB, let's say a country, like I'm taking IB in Singapore, and I have a really bad teacher. He's not experienced, and I really am appreciative of the site and the resources that you have. Just a friendly thank you. It gets you started in the right direction. And you wait for their reply and just go back and forth like that. Don't be pushy. Talk to them naturally. They're not this foreign being, right? They're just like you and me, but they're getting paid to join the IB program, whereas you, my friend, are paying to join the IB program. And when you actually finally need something, email them saying something along the lines of, I was wondering if you could help me out with this small question I had. And don't be general, be specific. Be like, I can't figure out whether this is a good EE topic, or I don't know if I should take chem with no prior experience. Do you have any input? Or what statistical test do you think works best for this bio IA? And the main thing, if it doesn't take too much time from you, I'd really appreciate some feedback. And hopefully, just hopefully, they'll give you some solid advice. Again, don't just do exactly what they're saying, but if you feel that they're a reliable source of information, they have credibility, it'd be very beneficial for you to consider their advice. Okay, some do's and don'ts. Do ask them for advice for a specific problem that you have, as long as it's quick and requires a minimum effort from their part. Do not tell them to give you an IA or EE topic, or worse yet, take a look at your IA or EE because they're not your teachers and they don't need to do that. Next, do ask them for help to point you in the right direction with the problem you have, like what textbooks are useful for a particular subject. Do not ask them to send you free copies of textbooks or past papers because they're not going to. Do contact them and hope for the best. And do not harass them by sending multiple emails and end up being like this desperate person. My teacher doesn't help me, and then the next few emails, why aren't you replying me? Don't you like me? Don't become that guy. Okay. And the next thing I'm going to tell you is super, super important, okay? Out of everything, please remember this. Do not send your files to random teachers online. Do not ever consider sending your EE or IA, even if they say that they would take a look. Because that's all the effort that you've put into this one file, and although these teachers have good intentions, you don't know where your files end up, right? You don't know whether the teacher may be careless and he shows your IA or your E to another person, and that person suddenly makes an IA very similar to yours, or their inbox gets accessed by other people and somebody takes it, or worse yet, they just outright take your coursework and they don't reply you. So don't be that guy that sent his EE to some shady teacher in another country and end up seeing it as a free resource on IB Survival before you submit it. Be careful. Use common sense, and don't be stupid. Alright, now the next thing, I said this was important, but this is really important. Think long term. Focus on developing a long-term relationship with these teachers. Give as much as you take. If you find some resources that you think they will appreciate with their subject, help them out too. Don't expect too much out of them, right? Don't pressure them to help you because they're not a substitute for a current teacher. They're just a source of advice that can point you in the right direction. So think long term. You want to be in contact with these guys for 2 years, maybe even more than that. Point is long term. Okay, hope that helped. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments or email me. Stay safe, be smart, and have fun.